Welcome to this week's Go Get That Rose recap of week 9 of Hannah Brown's Bachelorette season. It's hometowns, super exciting and kind of boring at the same time. I am your host, Sara, and I'm joined by my co-host, Jay Wade.
Hey everybody, man, this was a nutty week, and I'd say that every week, but it just keeps getting nuttier.
Oh, it really, really does. We are at hometown, so final 4, and supposed to go down to 3, but we'll get to it with our final 4 lovely guys: Peter, Jed, Tyler, and Luke. Let's just get right into hometowns. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we have our first hometown is Peter, and I wrote that Peter is our hopeless romantic, as he calls himself, and his dad calls him all this stuff. The first date was in Los Angeles, California. What did you think of the date that they did before they went to meet his parents?
To meet his family, the flying?
Yeah.
That was really cool. It really was. That was I don't know if the producers thought of it or if he thought of it, but if he thought of it, major kudos bar to Peter. That was very good thinking on his part.
I mean, he's a pilot, so I would have been really disappointed if he didn't go in there.
True. But it was great because before he puts her in the awesome plane, he puts her in the awesome car to take her to the awesome plane. And it's like, dude, you show off.
Oh, yeah. That car was nice. It was so nice. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, so...
No, I kind of hope he loses, and then I can meet him and hey, what's up, dog?
Hey, what's up, Peter?
Hey, how you doing?
Really nice car. The thing that stood out to me, which is really random, is that they met up in a field in the middle of the woods. I don't understand. Everyone else, like, they meet up like in the town, and she was just like walking through the woods. I'm like, what is it? What are they doing? Like, why is he in the woods? But that's besides the point. Hannah said to the camera that Peter was the type of guy that she saw herself with when she was little. I thought that was really interesting, and just like, he's the perfect guy. This whole time, honestly, the whole date and meeting the parents, I don't think Hannah was into him or into it. Like, honestly,
you don't think so?
No, I think she has friend zoned him or sees him kind of like a brother. I don't know. Like, I think she, like, she even said, like, he kind of snuck up on her, which I was surprised that she said that, because it seems like she's always kind of been interested in him. But I don't know if I don't know. Like, their relationship just kind of confuses me a bit.
Yeah,
like,
and I mean, he's out of the 4 guys left. I like him and Tyler as far as, like, I think they're the 2 most solid guys. Luke and Jed just are kind of jerks, but right now and Peter's family seemed really nice and all that when they ended up meeting. Yeah, in the German prayer before dinner was awesome. But I just the only concern I have with him is, like we've said before, him being a pilot. Wouldn't keep him away from home a lot? And I don't, especially if you're going through all this trying to find someone to marry, wouldn't you want to marry someone who's gonna be around?
Yeah.
So, I mean, but that is the only thing after their date and the meeting that I still have concerns about with Peter.
Yeah, he seems like really sweet. He definitely is the hopeless romantic, and I don't know. I just think he's a really sweet guy. I don't see him and Hannah. I understand a little bit now. People are really, really want him to be Bachelor. I just think he's too boring to be Bachelor, but I've been proven wrong before. I don't know. I think he's just too sweet, and I don't think hopeless romantics really make good television. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, I feel like it would just be so, like, we've seen this before. Like, that's why, and I keep saying it, that's why I want Mike, because we've never had a Black Bachelor, and I just think they would pass up such an amazing opportunity. And he's such a cool, nice, good-looking guy that, like, Peter looks like every other bachelor that they've had. Like, he literally looks like 3 other bachelors. I just think
they all look the same. And oh my gosh,
they all do. I'm like, give me Mike. Give me Mike.
Well, even yes, you're right. You're right, and I'm totally for Mike being bachelor. I love Mike. Like you see, he's handsome. That smile. He's a nice guy. But like we were saying off air here before we started, just how it's always the same type of people. It's pretty people. It's thin people. It's chiseled people. And it's just like, dude, I don't know. It's like a plastic. It's like a show of plastic people, kind of.
Exactly. I also feel like he has everything put together where, like, I want to see someone that's not saying that Mike doesn't, but I just feel like like Peter's gonna find a girl fine. He's a pilot, like, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't need the bachelor, and not that Mike does, but you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's a super obvious choice, and I don't want that. But I wouldn't be upset if him and Hannah ended up together. I think he's a really sweet guy, and he is very into her, except he didn't tell her that he loved her, but that he was freaking falling in love with her or something like that. But he seemed really sweet. I loved his family. His family. They were so emotional. We both wrote it down. They were both crying. The mom was crying and the dad was crying. I was like, oh my God, they're so cute. Like,
the dad was far more emotional than his mom was, which was really cool to see. Because of those. Well, all stereotypes come from some truth, but that old stereotype of, being a man, not showing those emotions, and it was really, really good, and I think important to see a father being that emotional with his child, especially his son. I really, really liked that.
I thought that was really cool too. You're right, like, you don't see that much on really any kind of television show, like scripted or reality, so I thought that was really neat that they left that and included that.
He had a good family, good solid family. It seemed like it was nice.
Yeah, I just love their family. And that wraps up Peter's hometown for me. It was a good hometown, pretty typical. Nothing extreme really happened except for the finding the condom in his car.
Yeah.
Which okay. What do you think about that as the male?
I think that, I don't know, there's nothing to be embarrassed about.
No.
But it's one of those things where even though there's nothing to be embarrassed about, you're still going to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
But it's funny how she just was totally just, what is this? You know? That was good. And he was smiling and his face was red. So that was some good stuff too.
Do you think that was a producer plant or if he actually just had one in his car?
I think he actually had one in his car because he was like, like kind of like trying to act like, I don't know what that's doing in there, but you could tell he knew that he was not surprised.
That's so funny. I don't know, I thought that was really funny. I was like, why is he so embarrassed? Like, it's okay, but I understand.
Yeah, I mean, at least he's responsible like that. That's awesome.
Yeah,
so
good for you, Peter. You're growing on me little by little. So our next hometown is Tyler, and they're in Jupiter, Florida. It looked absolutely beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Super jealous. And they had a boat day. He took her out and drove her on a boat. So we had Peter flying her in an airplane, and then Tyler driving her around on a boat.
Yep.
I was like, this is great. And they got some food. They just hung out. I thought this was a really cool date too. Like, it was so nice.
Yeah, it was. It was really cool. And the whole time that they're on the boat, all I could think about is, why aren't you fishing?
Yeah.
Like,
maybe they don't fish.
Maybe. But that's just me. I was like, boat, water, fish. Let's go fishing. But yeah, it was really cool. It was cool. And it was nice how, he showed her the house he grew up in, but from the water, which was a nice, different perspective. You know what I mean? So that was pretty cool. And he sure did enjoy that rub down that he gave her, putting the lotion on her.
She was like speechless. She was like, I don't know, like wherever you want. Like, oh my gosh. I was like,
now,
okay.
Was that an open invitation? When she's like, wherever you want, or was that really like, did she mean that? Like, wherever you want, touch me? Or was it more just like a nervous kind of like, you know, like how you kind of said, I don't know, anywhere you want?
I don't know. I think it was probably an invitation. Not to like feel her up. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Girls are confusing.
Well, I mean, from a guy's perspective, and not like in a dog kind of or a pervy way, but like, you know, if you're dating a chick and she's like, you know, basically she didn't say touch me wherever you want, but rubbing her down with lotion is touching her. And she's like, wherever you want, the guy's mind is automatically going to go for, you know, the breasts and the butt. That's just the way the guy's mind works, you know?
I think if we said that, like if a girl says that, especially to like the guy that you're like dating or whatever, I think we fully know we're like giving you permission. You know what I mean? Like
right.
I don't think she's like feel like really like fill me up, but I just think she's saying like if it happens then it's okay, but not to like go for it first. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a code.
Don't grope me, but if your thumb brushes across, then that's
it's
okay.
Fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Exactly. I'm giving you permission, but not to like feel me up completely.
Right.
Yeah, that was. I mean, they're having fun in the water.
Yeah, and I mean, lots of skin there in that date. Which, hey, kudos to him. He was thinking about it, you know, because you know he knew taking her out on a boat. There's going to be some bathing suit action. Yeah,
smart man.
Yep.
And then so they went and met his mom, his dad, who we found out earlier was like really sick. It was like in a coma and almost passed away, but he's doing a lot better. His brothers, and then like a whole bunch of people in this beautiful house. Like, this house was huge. And he was talking about the other house. He's like, this is the house I grew up in. We lost it because of the recession. And then they go into this beautiful house. I was like, what? Like, y'all rich? Like, okay.
Talk about new opportunities.
Yeah, I was like, okay. Well, they walked in and everyone was so quiet. Like, it was a complete 180 from like when they walked into Peter's house and the family was like yelling and they're doing the chant and all this stuff. They walk in and they're like, hey, bud. Like, it was so quiet. I was like, that's so weird. Like, that's so awkward. But, I mean, you can tell, like, it makes sense. Especially, like, it's really cool to see, especially guys, like, where their influence come from, because you can see what every single one of them, like, how their parents or families have really impacted them. Where, like, what Tyler, his dad seemed really reserved. Like, the whole family just seemed really reserved. So it, like, makes sense why Tyler hasn't opened up so much. Like, I think it's really cool to be able to kind of tell.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the reasons I was looking forward to Luke's, because it's like after this whole season, it's like, dude, I have got to see who brought this dude into the world.
Yeah. Well, Tyler's dad was really sweet to Tyler and Hannah. And also another really sweet moment between like Tyler and his dad, like Peter and his dad. A lot of great dads this episode. Like, really sweet. They're really supportive of each other. Just, I don't know. I loved their interaction. And Hannah was asking the brothers if Tyler's ready for like to get engaged and stuff, and everyone was saying, yeah, like he's ready. I kind of have issues with this where I'm like, I don't know, like you should ask Tyler if he thinks he's ready, like not his family. Like, I get like his family, they're close people to him, but like only Tyler knows, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they know him, but they don't know everything about him. him. You know what I mean?
Know his heart and if he's mentally ready. But I get it. But that always kind of like ticks me off. I'm like, just ask the person, like ask them, or make a decision yourself. I don't know. But Tyler's dad did tell Hannah that if it was to work out, that the family would fully support their relationship, just like if it was any other normal, I guess, relationship. And I thought that was really sweet.
Yeah.
Usually when it's the bachelor going to the girls, the bachelor will ask each of the dads for permission to marry their daughter. So it's kind of weird where, like, it feels more serious that way, where in this it's just kind of like you're just meeting the family because the girl doesn't really ask for permission. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I thought that was nice. And as Tyler was leaving, they made out in the back of the limo. So
yeah,
like it did.
And I was trying to I was tweeting out a little bit during that episode and looking I was just trying to find the tweet she put out about that when they showed that part. Oh, here it is. She tweeted out during the did you see that?
Yeah, go ahead and read it, though, because I don't remember.
Yeah, she said, yes, the driver was in the car, and yes, he unfortunately could not control himself and chuckled. Quotation marks, he's a lucky boy. Good night, huh?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was, pretty hot and heavy there in the backseat of the old chauffeured vehicle.
Yeah, and he was the only one that took that. He was like, I know you gotta leave, but and then just like hopped in the car and started making out with her.
Yeah.
Like, all right. way to go, Tyler. Like,
all right. So I got no hate for that move, dude. That was nice.
Yeah. Tyler did good. Tyler did real good. Yeah. He knew what he was doing. Mm-hmm. I really like them, and I hope she picks him or Peter, obviously. But I would be okay with either of them. I don't know if that's how it's going to work out, but...
yeah, I don't know either.
But, so that takes us to the one everyone was waiting for.
Yes.
Good old Luke to Gainesville, Georgia. And their date was... He took her to like adult Sunday school, like a small group, but there was like 30 people there.
Yeah.
Which this whole date just brought back so many like just church memories. Like the whole time I'm just like, oh my god, like, this is so real. Like this is
me too.
And kind of the same thing where like it's cool to see like that kind of culture, like the Christian culture and the small groups and sharing testimony and like even the words like they were using. Like it's really cool to see that, but at the same time it does kind of feel like manipulation a little bit because I can't tell if the Bachelor is still trying to use it as like, this is why Luke is crazy because of his Christian background. You know what I mean? Like I'm just trying to figure out like, are they saying that this is just a normal thing? Or are they still trying to kind of use it against him? Like I don't know.
Yeah. And well, I don't, Luke is confusing to me because
yes.
he comes off like a really huge asshole, but like he chooses to take her to this, like, this church group and, I don't know. It just I cannot figure out if he's a nutty Christian, which they do exist.
Yes, they do.
Or is he using religion to try to get to Hannah? Because I still feel that he was using religion a couple episodes ago when he was talking about God to her and all that. I still think he was using that to try to get to her. And I was very confused as to whether or not that's the case here when he took her home to his hometown.
Yeah, I don't know. It's cool to see the Christian faith and stuff like that. I just don't know how much of it, like you said, is manipulation because obviously like Hannah is so into it. Like she was smiling and just loved every second of it. Like Luke stood up and was sharing his testimony once again.
Yeah, again.
The shower story once again. word for word every time we've
saved
heard
me in the shower.
It's been the same, like, word for word every time. I'm like, okay, buddy, like, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what to make of this guy on any level other than how he comes off.
I thought he came off really good in his hometown. I don't know if I just got caught up in in all of it, because, like, he doesn't sound sincere though, and he always sounds like he's, like, performing or has things written out. Like, it doesn't ever sound natural. But even when we meet his parents and we meet his dad sounds the same exact way. And, like, I've met those Christian fathers just like him, and I'm just like, I don't like it. It was seriously giving me, like, PTSD. Like, I was like, like, there are people, like, not that it's bad, but you know what I mean. Like, I can see. I've seen a little bit into why Luke behaves the way he does. I don't know. Like, I just can't tell. Is this really Luke? Is it just manipulation? Like, I don't know. And everyone in the church group, everyone she went around to talk to was like, Luke is such a great guy. He would never fight anyone. He loves everyone.
And when they're saying this, his friends, his family, everyone who's saying this, I'm like, dude, you're all nuts. I'm like, person. It's like I am not convinced that the show has done an injustice to Luke. I am not convinced of that at all. I am now even more convinced that he's nuts, but not only that he's nuts, but everyone he knows is nuts too.
I feel like Luke comes off as a really nice guy, and I'm sure he is a really nice guy when you get to meet him. I'm sure he's one of those guys that's, like, smiling and wants to get to know you, and you just instantly want to, like, open up to him. I've met tons of people like that you just, especially, like, he's a good-looking Christian guy, and if you're a young girl in the church, that's the kind of guy your parents would want you to marry, because on the outside, he looks like he's got it all together, and he is, like, huge too. Like, he's got a nice body. You know what I mean? Like, he's good-looking, he loves the Lord, and his testimony is about how he doesn't have sex. Like, what parent wouldn't want you to marry him? Like, you know what I mean? And it's just like, but I think he is a nice guy, but I think competition and conflict, like I wrote in my notes, I think that's what brings out the worst in him, and I do not think this show is a good fit for him. I've heard tons of other people say it, like, this is not a good fit for him because it is a competition. Like, that's what this show is, and he's competing with other guys for Hannah, and I think for him it's better for him to just date someone in a normal situation and not such a hyper sped up kind of thing, because he does seem like that guy that will, like, cling on really fast, like, fall very fast, get very clingy, and some girls like that. Some girls like guys that just fall in head first really fast, different than Peter, because I feel like Peter does that, but not as stalkerish as I feel like Luke.
Yeah, he plays it cool. He plays it really cool, and he's reserved. You know what I mean? He's not like, he lets her know that he's interested, but it's not like, I'm crazy interested in you.
Luke,
I'm normal and I'm interested in you.
Luke is almost more like possessive. Like, he's so like,
yes,
that's my girl, no one else can have her. I'm gonna love her fearlessly and go all in, and like that kind of behavior, like, is scary. Is really scary, and especially when it's heightened in a dating reality competition where, like, none of the other guys are acting that way, so of course he's going to stand out because that's just the way he loves. And I mean, I don't know, maybe that's how his dad, like, kind of taught him, because it seems like they follow, like, the courtship, like, you court someone for a while and, like, dating, like, the very kind of old-fashioned.
Yeah, which makes it even more odd to me that Luke put himself in this situation, because he obviously the entire time has had a big problem handling his emotions as far as her being with other guys, dating other guys, kissing other guys, going on dates with other guys. And it's like, man, if you hold this more Christian conservative value system like it seems you do from meeting your family, why would you think that this lines up with that?
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, man, whatever, dude. I don't know him. Good luck to you.
Yeah, good. I don't know. Even his family, everything just seemed really off.
Yeah.
And, like, every single person was like, Luke is great. Luke breaks up fights. He doesn't start fights. Like, everything was about from his brother and his uncles, and Hannah's just like bashing him in front of everyone. It's like,
oh yeah, she spilled the beans to everyone.
the one uncle or someone was like, so why is he here? Like, why did he make it that far?
Yeah, exactly. And that was probably the only honest moment we got from anyone of his friends or family was that moment right there.
Yeah, it was, and then like, I don't know, just watching him talk to his dad, and I don't really understand. I can't remember half the stuff they said because the whole time I'm just like, oh my God, like, just about how lucky Hannah is to be loved so fiercely by someone, and that it's God's gift, or I don't know. Like, I was just like, what are you saying? Like, what are you talking about? Like, just that I just kept having like flashbacks of like, I know these people in the church. I know these dads in the church that are like, my son's perfect, and the woman's supposed to come underneath the man, and like all this stuff. And it's just felt like, I don't know.
It reminds me of when I was a teenager and I was, in the church. I raised in the church, and it reminds me of a girl in the church that I dated whose dad didn't like me. And then once I got my ear pierced and I started hanging out with certain people, he really didn't like me, and he made us break up. Then she ends up getting knocked up by some dude that she barely knows, like the year after she graduated high school. And here I am 40 years old, and I was responsible enough not to have kids because I knew I couldn't afford them. So it's like, who's laughing now, dude?
Yeah.
But it just reminds me of that mentality, is my point. Of, like you were saying, it just that Christian father mentality. It can be the same for girls and guys, sons and daughters,
Yeah.
But it was just, it was very weird for me. The entire Luke bit was very weird for me.
Yeah, me too. It was very weird, and it was just like, it was cool to see them at church. I love seeing them at church and seeing, like, that's the part I like sharing with other people and stuff. It was just the whole family dynamic. Just, it shed a little bit onto Luke, like, why he's gone after Hannah so strongly. Because I'm sure, like, he's heard his dad, like, and like you said in your notes, like, Luke seems like the perfect child, and the dad thinks he is God's gift to everyone, even like over the other brother. Like, he just, I don't know. This is very interesting.
Yep.
And I mean, and then Luke ends up the night by telling Hannah that he loves her, and Hannah tells him that she is falling in love with him. The second guy, it's really funny that it's Jed and Luke that she's falling in love with, and not the two good guys, but the two other guys.
It just, I think I like you. I like you. I really like you. I think I might be falling for you. I'm falling for you. I love you. It's just like, dude, really? Yeah. I don't know. There's aspects like that I just still don't understand. But hey, man, whatever floats your boat, people.
So we'll get into our last hometown.
Jed!
Oh, here we go. Good old Jed. Knoxville, Tennessee. And oh my God, this is awful. He takes her to a recording studio, and that's going to be their date. And I'm like, are you effing kidding me? Like, that, for me, that'd be fun. Like, I like to sing. Like, that would be cool. I've been in recording studios. They definitely stress me out. Like,
yeah.
it wouldn't be my first, like, take me around the town, take me to do, like, the other guys, like, take me to see stuff. And especially the fact that Jed came on the show and admitted to her that he came on the show for his music career, and then he takes her to a recording studio to write a song. Like, are you kidding me? Like, dude, like...
I do not like Jed.
No. I don't.
Many times I don't like Luke. I don't like Luke and Jed for two completely different reasons.
Yes.
I don't like Luke because he's just a little off. There's something that's off about him. I don't like Jed because he is a freaking dog. Yeah. I just, the dude, looking at the dude makes me enraged. And then, like you said, and that's what makes me get enraged again, is him with the recordings. I can't believe I didn't put it together. Has brought that up. I never thought about that. You know, he's still trying to push the music.
Exactly. Every single episode that he's had like a prominent role in from that date that he mentioned he came on for the career, he has been shown playing music every time. I'm like, dude, like come on. And like, if I was Hannah, I'd be like, are you seriously? I don't know. I don't understand how she does not see that. Like, everything has to do with music at some point. Like, maybe
she's just too blinded by the musician aspect of him.
Probably.
You know what I mean? Because, I mean, dude, chicks love musicians. And, she obviously knows why he really went there. He told her. But it's like, she's not connecting the dots.
Well,
I'm sorry, Hannah, but I mean, come on, man. Come on. This guy he's a turd.
I still can't tell if I'm just angry at Jed because we all know the truth and stuff like that. Like, I don't know if we didn't know any of this, if I would be like, oh, Jed is so, like, that's so cute. You know what I mean? Like, I just can't tell, or if it's because we know. But I think at this point, even if we didn't know about the girlfriend, like, it still was kind of suspicious, and I still think I would be, like, everyone acted really weird, and we'll get to it, but I still think I'd be upset about the whole music thing, or, like, Hannah, like, he admitted to you that he came on for his music. Like, wouldn't you still have that in the back of your head? Like, wow, we're doing a date that involves recording music. Like, and he came on, like, I don't want to believe, like, I would have brought it up. Like, I would have been like, hey, I know you said that you're not here for your music, but, like, every time I see you, you always have your guitar. I don't know. Like, maybe in the moment you're not thinking about that, but I feel like...
Well, but then his family, too. She meets his family, and you can tell that his music is all they care about, too.
Yes. Well, okay. So, his family...
I jumped ahead a little bit, but
that
peed me off, too. I'm sitting here, I'm like, I don't know. His mom, sister, and dad, all three of them, I'm like, you people are terrible.
Well, apparently they're all musicians as well.
Even worse.
Yeah, well, so, like, okay, so I grew up in a very musical family. My dad is a musician. We have a little recording studio in our house. So, like, I've always been around music and trying to make it work and trying to get big and stuff like that. Whatever. So, hearing Jed's mom keep saying that, like, this is a career. They don't hand out college diplomas for this, which isn't true. They do. There's music, like, there's whole schools for music. I'm like, what are you talking about, lady? Like, what are you... And saying, like, he can't work a full-time job because he needs to focus on his music career. Or I'm just like, what are you talking about? Like, people do this all of the time. Like, all of the time. And it's like...
And how does he live?
They pay for his rent. They pay his rent.
Exactly. A grown-ass man whose mom and dad are paying for his rent. He cheated on his girlfriend to go there to push his music career. I mean, I don't know. Come on, Hannah. Come on, girl.
And it's just, so, like, okay, so they start and they eat say, like, a toast or whatever, and the mom says something about, like, it's important to stick to your truth because that's going to be beneficial to everyone. And instantly I feel the tension and I'm like, oh, like, that's shady. Like, that's really shady. And Hannah's just like, oh, that was really good. Like, not picking it up. Like, girl.
She even tweeted out last night about it, that it was a good toast, that those were words of wisdom or whatever.
Oh,
and I'm
my God.
Dim.
I'm like, I don't know. So then, like, the mom and Hannah sit down, and she's trying to talk to the mom, and she's like, I really enjoy spending time with your son or whatever. And the mom's like, yeah, well, he's just one of the guys. Like, you're the Bachelorette. I'm sure you say that. And she's like, no, like, I actually really like him. And she's like, well, he's just another one of the guys. Like, not into, won't make eye contact with Hannah. Like, was not into it. And she's like, yeah, well, I actually told him I'm falling in love with him. And she's like, I'm sure you say that to everyone. Like, not, like, I felt so bad for Hannah. I was like, this poor girl. Because the mom was just laying into her. But then, so this is the thing, I have to assume that the family knows that Jed went on the show for music, but also that he had a girlfriend, because I guess
had to.
Well, there's reports that, like, they've met her, like, both the families have met, like, they would have had to known. So, like, and they don't have contact with the family before they, like, meet them for hometowns. Right. Like, they don't go back early. Like, they stay at a hotel in the hometown. Like, they don't get to go home. So, like, he wasn't able, I don't think, to, like, text them or be like, hey, I'm coming home with Hannah. Don't mention Haley. Like, don't mention the ex-girlfriend. Like, please don't say anything.
And that's something that disgusted me too, was that, it is a safe assumption that his family knows that he had this other girlfriend. All right, it's very safe assumption. Yeah. So going off of that assumption, just how disgustingly deceitful and terrible
that they're covering for
family
him
is. Yes.
I was like,
and it's like, okay, so they knew he was with this other girl while working on his career before he went on Bachelorette. Mm-hmm. So that was okay, but him being with Hannah is not okay.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So why didn't this other girl hinder his music career? Is the point? I think
that's why they keep bringing up the music career. Like, his career is really important, because the other girl is a musician as well in Nashville, Tennessee. So I think that's why they're just like, you got to stick to the career in so many words, without them coming out and saying, which they should have came out and said, hey, Jed, you
like your other girlfriend better.
Yeah, especially with him saying like saying to them, like, I really fell for this girl, I'm really falling for this girl. Yeah. And the family keeps saying, like, this is confusing, this is not what we expected, because he left and said, I'm gonna be with Haley when I come back. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't, it's frustrating, because I wish that the family wasn't sticking up for him.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
Like, are you kidding me? And, like, even so, Hannah was like, I know about the ex-girlfriend and how that was really hard on him. So I wonder if it's a different ex-girlfriend, or if he told Hannah that he had a girlfriend but broke up with her, but, like, lied about that. Like, that's what I was like,
yeah,
what ex-girlfriend? And the mom was like, he's lived life. He's lived life.
I mean, she made it out as, the way she said that, it left me with the impression as if he has a set up life that has nothing to do with the Bachelorette. You know, like this is just, like, she knew, like we've said, that he was going there for his career, and that he has a whole nother life. So, you know, it's just so very terrible. I just was not impressed with his family whatsoever.
Oh no, it was crazy. And Jed did tell Hannah that he loved her when they were in the recording studio, which they, like, set it up that it was going to be this big reveal. I thought he was going to say, like, I have a girlfriend, because he said, like, you know that feeling when, like, your heart's beating so fast, and, like, you can't say what you need to say. And I was like, oh my God, he's going to tell her. He's actually feeling guilty, and he's like, I love you. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
But the family was not. I mean, they didn't really give a blessing, which, I mean, it makes sense. At least they weren't like, Hannah's great, you guys should get married. You know, I don't know what would be worse. Like, because they were kind of like, even the sister was like, I don't think you're what's best for for Jed. Yeah. So I don't know if that's them trying to protect Hannah just kind of like laying.
They don't. My impression is the way they don't care about Hannah's feelings.
Yeah.
You know, so they don't care about her feelings at all. I think they were covering for Jed, and they're just, you know, they're trying to make it so that he and Hannah don't happen, but not making him look like a turd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it just very nauseous. That section was very nauseating to watch. And felt really bad for Hannah, really bad for her, because she, out of all these guys, Jed is the one that she said that she has expressed emotions and feelings for the most, you know?
Yeah.
And then right after all this stuff, you know, their date at the studio and all this love talk, then it's just immediately like, boom.
Yeah.
Hitting that brick wall that his family put up. And I'm like, dude, there's no way she thought that was coming at all. She probably thought it was going to be the most amazing night, you know? Felt really bad for her.
Yeah, well, he did not seem like he thought it was going to go bad at all. Like, he was just like, it's going to be great. Yeah. I'm so excited for you to meet my family. Like, I would be so nervous. Like, my family knows I had a girlfriend. Like, what are they going to say? Like, I don't know. Like, that was nuts.
Yeah.
Well, she leaves and says, his family was not what I really expected, and I'm not sure what to do, which I'm just kind of like, you should have sent them home. But that leads us to our rose ceremony.
And this is where I was excited, because I'm like, dude, she's getting rid of Jed. I was like, there's no way in hell she's going to keep him around after meeting his family like that. So this rose ceremony, I was really looking forward to it.
Well, so Hannah tells the cameras, or tells someone, Chris Harrison, whoever, that in her mind she doesn't have a clear front runner, which I'm like, okay, Hannah, I don't think that's true, but whatever. No. She was clearly emotional, which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but you could tell, like, she was probably exhausted after flying and traveling around all week and being with all these guys. I'm sure she's just exhausted. She was like, I don't know who to choose. She said, I don't really have an order. I'm just going to follow my heart when I go in there, which is probably not the best idea for 4 people left. But to me, a huge surprise is Peter got the first rose. Yeah. I actually thought Peter was going to be the last one going home, just because she didn't seem as into him on his date as she was everyone else. But I was happy. I was like, okay, cool. Peter and then Tyler got the second rose, and then we're left with 1 rose, and between Luke and Jed, and you can tell Jed is very upset.
Yeah, he doesn't understand what's going on.
Oh no.
You know, first of all, he's probably thinking, okay, Peter and Tyler got a rose before me. That already probably annoyed him. Yeah. And then it annoyed him that it was down to him and Luke.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, none of these guys have liked being compared to Luke or on the same level as him at all. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, he was very irked by that.
So Hannah, just walks out, takes the rose and just kind of looks at them and is like, and just walks out the room.
Yeah, she was mumbling to herself and everything.
And Chris goes over and is like, you okay? And she's like, no. Just kind of freaks out. I'm like, okay, all right. She's like, I understand her point of view. She's like, I really can't send these guys home. I don't feel like I spent enough time with them to get to know them. But the other part of me is like, girl, this is the show. I'm sorry. And so she comes out and
roses in her hand. I thought she was going to send them both home.
Well, that's what I thought for instant too, where she was like, I can't give you a rose, or she says something, and I'm like, oh my god, that doesn't make sense. Why is she going to send them both home? And then Chris Harrison comes out and was like, I got the roses you asked for.
Yeah.
I was like, are you seriously? All right. What? I mean, I don't think it's ever happened. It hasn't happened recently that they've taken 4 people to fantasy suites. It's always 3. But we'll see. Luke was really excited. Obviously, Luke probably thought he was going home.
He probably did.
He probably did,
especially when Peter and Tyler took the first 2 roses.
Oh yeah.
You know, and she was like, she had said that, you know, she couldn't decide, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. She's up in the air about Jed and Luke, but she knew right away that she wanted to keep Pete and Tyler around.
Yeah.
That was kind of confusing to me. I'm like, well, that seems that she is confident that she wants that she wants them around and blah blah blah. But it's just like,
I think it was,
I don't know.
Peter and Tyler's date went so smooth, and like with Luke, she's still a little bit unsure of, and Jed, like, she was left unsure of. So I think the other two, like, she was like, there's nothing happened for her to be like, I don't know, like, I think honestly, like, I think Jed should have went home. I think, because
I thought for sure he would after his family, the way they talked to her. I was like, wow.
I would have sent him home. Like, besides the fact of him having a girlfriend, which she doesn't know, like, I don't know. I just would have been like, bye. Well, so the guys, like, kind of pulled Jed aside when they're waiting for Hannah to come back. And
that was interesting.
I felt so bad for Luke. Like, I felt so bad for him. Like, he's standing there, and they're just, like, bitching about, they're just, like, complaining about him right in front of him, and they're like, it's gonna be you, there's no way she keeps him around, like, all this stuff. I'm just like, seriously? I don't know, like, that's rude. That's really rude.
Props to Luke right now, because that is the most calm and collected and chill I have ever seen him. Yeah. You know, and I was like, dude, if he could have been like that the whole time, he would be ahead of all those guys right now.
Yeah. Props to Luke for not getting angry, not getting upset, just standing there and taking everything. The person that did get upset was Jed, was really pissy.
Oh, yeah.
But honestly, he should have been grateful that he got a rose, because he probably would have went home. So I was like, all right, he kept, and I thought it was so entertaining because he was just going on and on about Luke, like, it's unbelievable that I'm in the same category as him, that it was a competition, and that he was such a scumbag. I'm like, dude, do you hear yourself talking right now? Like, it was so funny. I was like, okay, Jed, like, I can't believe, like, it was a toss-up between me and him. Like, he's unbelievable. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Like,
yeah, and that all made it obvious to me that he is not there for Hannah either.
Oh, no.
Because, like you said, he would be grateful that he's still there, but instead he's pissed off that he was on the same level with Luke, and that she didn't pick him over Luke.
He was like, he was like talking to the producers, like, I don't know, man, this is ridiculous. And I'm like, why are you so mad right now? Like, yeah, it was really weird. Like, he completely flipped from, like, I love Hannah, Hannah's great and all this stuff, to, like, I don't understand why I'm considered the same, like, as him. Like, it was nuts.
Yeah, it was.
I was like, that's crazy. Well, next week we now have 4 men going to fantasy suites instead of 3. I wonder if maybe they'll kind of kick someone off before we get into fantasy suites, if we'll just keep the same. I don't know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be very interesting. Dang it.
Oh yeah. Very interesting, especially based on the clips.
Oh yeah, that, I mean, we all know that. I guess it's no spoiler that Luke, unless they do a crazy cut, Luke looks like he's going home next week. But I wouldn't be too sure, because they cut these promos very well and very sneaky, so we never know what's going to happen. Yep. But that's the end of our episode. Join us next week. I think it's just going to be Jay next week, because I will be away. I'm so angry. I'm going to miss it.
I'll hold it down for you.
But I will definitely talk about it once I come back, because I'm sure it's going to be insane.
Oh, for sure.
But you can follow me on Twitter at SSEABOCK. And you can find this show and other shows at Merc with a Movie Blog, the feed on SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, and Google Play. So just catch up with our shows and other shows that we do. and be on the lookout for our episode next week.
Yeah, it'll be really good time. And light down the fort. It won't be as long of an episode with it being just me. But given the clip, I'm sure I'm going to have a lot to say. Fun. I'm excited.
And I will chime in with all my thoughts at some point because it's going to be great. Well,
definitely.
We'll see you next time. Bye.